Hello, fighter survivors and thrivers. Welcome to the Cancer Show. It is Thankful Thursday. I love Thankful Thursday because it just makes me reflect on the many things that I am thankful for. Of course, I do this during my gratitude practice, meditation practice every morning. But this is something that I can. Hi, Sheila. Welcome. This is, this is more focused with you. So every Thursday, I think about something that I can share with you that will lift you up, inspire you, share information. I mean, I learned so much about these Thankful Thursdays, like learning about sunsets and I don't know, like trips to places and things that I have to look up. I'm like, oh, what does that mean? Or what is that? It's like I'm learning so much while doing these lives. I've been doing these lives every single day since Thanksgiving. Yeah, since Thanksgiving, because I want to reach out to you in so many ways and I want to give back in so many ways. So just taking, an hour out of my day to connect with you, share with you, meditate on Monday, tip on Tuesday, workout Wednesday, Thankful Thursday, something fun on Friday, forget about it, Super Fun Friday, Superhero Saturday, where we spotlight somebody and, see the inspiration and the compassion in superheroes of the cancer world and also the whole world. Like there's lots of people that we can turn to, and they either are known or unknown, or somebody in your life, or just a stranger that you met that you meet that can be so inspiring. And then Sunday is I Am Inspired, Inspiration Sunday, and so. I was thinking today, oh geez, like what am I thankful for? So many things. Always the basics, okay? The basics, which are, food, clean water. We have to say clean water now. Isn't that interesting? When I was growing up, it was food and water. Now it's like clean water. Because we either didn't know about dirty water or there wasn't dirty water. I'm from Vancouver, so we have amazing water. You just drink out of the tap and it tastes good. It's interesting because does water taste good? Like, yeah, water can taste good. If you've ever had bad water, then you'll know what good water tastes like. It's just fresh and crisp and full of energy, like water, hydration. It's awesome. So, anyways, where was I going with the water thing? I have no idea. I forgot. Chemo brain moment. Okay, basics. I'm sorry. I'm back. Basics. So, food, water, clean water, shelter, clothing. Yeah, those are the basics, right? Those are the things we absolutely have to survive. And then, we go on from there. So these are extensions of that. But the basics, we must always be thankful. And for our health, of course, our health, like number one. Okay, I'm thankful. I'm super thankful for Netflix. Okay. Now, okay, just let me explain. First of all, before COVID, I was like working like a little hamster on a wheel, like nonstop. Because with my children, my teens, they're teens now, I have to refer to them as teens, go to two different schools for 2 years. Now they're going to be at the same school. Before they were at the same school, but they're 2 years apart. They're 17 months apart. So, there's a lot of driving involved because the schools are not close to each other. And it's a lot of driving. So I was in the car like 4 hours, sometimes 5 hours a day. Yes, in the car. And that's when I was listening to my books, my audibles. And, I just get a lot of things done in the car. Not when I'm driving, but maybe when I'm waiting or whatever it may be. But, do my shopping, my grocery shopping, things like that, run errands. But I was in the car a lot. When COVID hit, I was barely driving. Gas was like $2.19. Now it's at like almost $5. Nobody was on the road. I was like, what? This is crazy. It reminded me of my mom's hometown, which is where she lives right now, which is Trail, British Columbia. It's a town. It's, not a village, it's a town. It's the city of Trail, but it's small, it's a very small community. Probably, even one of our smaller neighborhoods, Trail is like probably smaller than one of our smaller, what we would call a small neighborhood. So it's very cozy there, and it's refreshing to go there. There's no traffic, there's no honking, it's just easy. So yeah, so when COVID hit, I was like, what the heck? This is awesome. I mean, of course, not the bad things about it, but just being able to relax and take back those 5 hours. So, you know what? I treated myself because I have that, if I'm not working, then I need to be working in my head. I'm the person that's you need to be doing something just to relax, like watching Netflix, something that's wasting your time. You could be doing something important. But you know what? You have to take those moments, or you should. Because, when I started taking those moments, I didn't feel like that hamster anymore. Now I'm pretty much back on the hamster wheel. But I will find times to watch Netflix again. But, okay, so there's categories about Netflix that I want to share with you. So I love biographies. I've always loved biographies since I was little. I love hearing about people's lives. I love hearing about, celebrities' lives. I love hearing about athletes. I love to hear the stories, or the life stories of my friends, of strangers, of that that sweet old lady on the bench. Ask somebody. If you're at the park, you're sitting next to them, and especially if they're seniors, ask them. So tell me about your life. It's incredible what you find out, what you learn from a stranger, and what they're willing to share. So I literally do that. So tell me about your life. What was the biggest challenge, and what was the most joyous part of your life? Tell me, because there's no life that goes like this, right? It's all up and down, up and down. So yeah, biographies. I think the first biography that I can remember was The Miracle Worker, which is about Helen Keller. And I was so inspired by that. But I go to the library, into the Rolodex. We'd have to pull it out. We have to look it up, and then we'd go find the book. I mean, it was a whole thing to find a book, right, guys? It was a whole thing. Even going to a library now kind of traumatizes me. Not really. It feels nice to be, around and smell the books. But now you don't have to do any of that. You can even listen to the book, which is great when you're in the car for 5 hours a day. So, Netflix has a whole documentary series, and they have a lot of biographies. So these are just some of the biographies I have watched so far since March of 2020. And, the other thing is that all my friends were watching Game of Thrones, or, I don't know, all kinds of series, and they're watching movies, and they're all talking about it, but I can't talk about it because I never got to watch it. Now, some of these they watched. There were other shows that I did watch that we could talk about with my friends, but as cancer fighters and survivors, I would not want you to watch them, and it's not really good for myself either. But there's Making a Murderer, which is very, very interesting, very, very interesting, and that's based on truth, allegedly. I don't know. Okay, the 2 dogs are in here now. Here comes the cat. Now everybody can be together. And it's a fascinating story, but there's darkness in it. It's making a murderer. So there's some darkness in there. So I always encourage anybody and everybody that's going through cancer, or who is supporting somebody through cancer, and anybody within the world of cancer that's going through it right now. not to watch anything dark, like anything dark. And I don't either, but this was more like Making a Murderer was like more fascinating what was going on. So anyways, I want to share some of the biographies that I watched, documentary biographies, and maybe, you know, you'll be inspired to watch them. So Roy Halston, do you remember Halston in the 70s? And his clothing line is so like glamorous. I actually wear a lot of like that look, that style, that flowing, like chiffon. Like I wear a lot of dresses. Summer's coming up, so you're going to see me in a lot more dresses. But my favorite go-to piece of clothing is a dress. I like a dress. It's comfortable. It's it's conservative. It's old-fashioned, and I'm a very old-fashioned kind of girl. And I just feel, I don't know, it just makes me feel pretty, or it just feels like, I feel jeans are like, I don't like jeans. They suffocate me, I guess. I know I have a couple pair of cute jeans, but I rarely wear them. I just like dresses. I just do. And Halston, that's my style. So I didn't know anything about his life story, and it's amazing. Like, it's amazing. I was like, oh, just like could not stop watching it. And so I was very fascinated by his stories and the ups and downs of his life and the choices. And he was gay, and you know, even back then it was not really accepted yet. So I had a lot of very interesting twists. And again, every single one of these stories, there's a challenge. And then there's a triumph. And then there's a challenge. And there's a triumph. And I mean, that's life. Challenges and triumphs. That's life. I think that's how we make it interesting. I guess. I don't know. But, you know, when you hear about other people's challenges, sometimes it makes yours not so, you know, difficult. Like when you think about Anna Frank and what she went through, and then you think about your issues, like sometimes it can put it into perspective. But of course, not discounting any of your, you know, your challenges, your tribulations. I know it's difficult, but it's just easier to know that you're not alone, and that, you know, people have made it through and gotten over those hills and conquered. And that's the beauty in these stories. I love these stories. Okay, then Audrey Hepburn. So much about Audrey Hepburn that I did not know. Fascinating story. And she's so lovely, and she's just so fresh. And I mean, just like, you know, she is Tiffany's. She is that. Like when you think of Audrey, you see that look. And that's just like, it's an amazing biography. So watch that. What would Sophia Loren do? So my daughter is named after Sophia. And when I was 14 years old, I remember walking to school. We used to walk to school. I know, strange. And and we were talking about when we wanted to have babies and what we're going to name them. And I said, well, when I have a daughter, even then I was like manifesting, when I have a daughter, I'm going to name her Sophia after Sophia Loren. And so when I met my husband, I'm like, okay, so just so you know, when we have a daughter, her name's going to be Sophia. That's not negotiable. And if that doesn't work for you, then I'm not going to be able to marry you. Seriously. I was not negotiating on that name. And her name is Sophia Lovina, and my name is Allison Lovina, and then my mom's name is Lovina. So I've asked Sophia to please, you know, if she would think about it, because you can't tell them what to do. You have to ask them to please put Sophia in her daughter's name. So we can pass it down in honor of my mother who's still alive, but we got to honor them while they're here as well, right? Okay, so Marilyn Monroe, tragic, but very interesting. Jackie O, oh my gosh, like, I vowed to Jackie O. Oh my goodness, like, just, again, it's about her and her sister. and it's talking about their lives and how they're parallel and how they're different. It's like, you got to watch that one. Anybody who loves Jackie O, you've got to watch that. I'm a what would Jackie do kind of girl. Like, I love Jackie. She's so classy. She brought style into the White House. She was so gracious. She knew that her husband, the president, was like having an affair. She just kept it together. She was, grace under pressure, never faltered. I mean, Jackie O. She's like amazing. And then JFK, I got to watch JFK's biography. Another one that was so fascinating. I didn't know any background really. I knew a little bit, but this goes deep. You know that he was sick a lot, like his whole life. He got into Harvard even though his grades weren't good. His dad was the mayor, I believe, anyways, total connections, and like how he became president and how he connected. He would go to teas. The ladies would have teas back then, which I wish we still had because I love having tea. And he would go and he would talk to the ladies. And of course they're swooning because he's JFK. Like, I'd vote for him too. So he had he even made me blush. JFK, John, you're making me blush from way up there. JFK, a lot of his votes came from women. Okay, Becoming, all about Michelle Obama. I mean, another amazing, great first lady. Amazing, so inspiring. What she did during, her 8 years in the White House. It's just like very grateful to her. I love how she supports, women and girls, and she just lifts us up. She's just like an amazing first lady. Dolly Parton, another great one. I mean, what a legacy. What a legacy. And, people always ask, like, why didn't she have children? Well, she tried to have children. She tried, and they just couldn't. I guess she didn't. I don't know about in vitro back then, but whatever, she made the decision, and she's like, well, if that's what God wants for me, then because I'm not doing it very good, Dolly, but you know what I mean. I guess I'm just not gonna be mother. I'm just, that was hard for her. Okay, that was really hard for her, and again, getting up on stage, performing, like, it just. That would be very difficult when you're trying to have a baby, and then you can't have one, or you decide you've accepted that, and then you've got to just go forward. Lady Gaga, another one, just like hustling, and then she finally transitions, and then she's like a superstar. Her story is great. Taylor Swift, well, Taylor Swift is she's one of my top favorite pop stars. I love her because she is conservative, and she has transitioned a little bit with her audience, because she's swearing a little bit in her songs, but not like crazy, not like some singers do. I just don't care for that. And she keeps it clean, and she's a master at what she does, like the way she speaks, and she talks about herself as the underdog. It's just like amazing that she's talking about Kanye West and how he got on the stage, and she was so excited because she's a big fan, and then he came over and he like took her award. I mean, wow, like this. It's like, how did she feel? Like, she talks about it. It's great. You got to watch that. And then Frank Sinatra, that was so interesting how he ended up getting an Academy Award. He's a singer, but he ended up getting an Academy Award, and how that all down, and his relationship with Ava Gardner. I believe it was Ava Gardner. And was it Ava Gardner? No, I have to look. I'm pretty sure that it was Ava Gardner. And there we go. Yep. All I had to put was and. That's it. And there's Frank. Okay, so that his story is amazing too. And then David Foster, he's Canadian. All right, shout out to all those Canadians, including myself. David Foster is from Victoria. Okay, like he's the master. Like he takes these songs and these performers and he just like just blows up so many songs. He's got that ear. He's a genius. And I will always love you by Whitney Houston. He said that he wanted no music at the beginning when she first started singing. And I guess he went back and forth with Clive Davis. I can't remember exactly how it went down, but they were arguing about that, or maybe it was the director. Anyways, David won, and she started that song without any music, just a cappella. And isn't it beautiful? Isn't it perfect? I mean, it's just like, you hear that song, the first thing you hear, it's just her voice, her beautiful, beautiful voice. I also watched the Whitney Houston one, super sad, super tragic, and very insightful. Like, I never saw Whitney like that. I just saw her as the, girl next door. She had her own demons that she was struggling with. Speaking of demons, Kurt Cobain, super sad story. He was so sensitive and he cared so much about people and about the world. He's actually a really, really good person. And I think the world was just too much for him. I mean, it makes me but sad. It was just too much for him. And even, his daughter wasn't enough to keep him here. And he just had to leave. It's very sad. And then back to Clive Davis, who's also he is very similar to David Foster's when he can see an artist, and Clive Davis had nothing to do with the entertainment business. Yeah, I mean the way that he literally fell into it. It was like a position that was opening. It's like, oh, I'll do it. And he is revered, of course. He's made so many people famous. I think it was Aerosmith. Was it Aerosmith? And he said to them, he saw them perform. He's like, "Are you ready to be famous?" I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And then they were famous. Tony Robbins, I'm Not Your Guru. That's a great one. That's the personal development one, and that's totally up my alley. And that was fascinating. Daryl Hammond, he's a comedian and cast member of SNL for, I believe, 14 years. And he talks about his abuse when he was growing up and how that affected his life, how he suppressed it, and then how it just kept resurfacing. That was very good. And then another great one is the founder of McDonald's. Not the founder. He's the one who took it to the next level, because the McDonald brothers, they were the first ones, but they did not see Ray's vision. And so Ray Kroc basically, took McDonald's for them, and they didn't see the vision. Can you go within, I don't know, at least here in Los Angeles, it's probably every 4 to 5 blocks there's a McDonald's. No joke. Everywhere. McDonald's everywhere. I mean, he had the vision. You have to have the vision. You have to keep the vision and then manifest the vision. And it's a very, very inspiring story. And motivating, super motivating. So these are not all of them, but these are some of them, and I still have more to watch, and I'm going to. So Saturday night or whatever, Netflix and a biography. That's super fun now. I'm watching biographies at the same time that I used to get ready to go out dancing to the clubs to have fun. It's every part of life, every decade, we must embrace and enjoy, and I enjoy it. I do. And Sophia, my daughter, also watches it with me. Watches them with me. Sometimes I watch hers, but she has a different list. But that's okay, because it's so important to spend time with your children, your teens. And Connor, my son, yeah, no, he's not watching with us yet, but he'll come around. He's just turned 14, so he's all about his bros. Okay, so those are just some of the documentary biographies that I wanted to share with you, and I encourage you to watch, because when you're going through struggles and you learn about somebody else's struggles, it's just it's a Me Too moment, and Me Too are the two most powerful words in the English language and in any language. Me too. Like, oh, this happened to me. Oh, me too. Right? There's a bond. There's an instant bond. And when you meet somebody like, oh, I'm from Vancouver. Oh, me too. Oh, what school did you go? Oh, and then you find out that you know somebody, the same person. Like, I love it. I love it. Okay, we're all 6 degrees from everybody else. We really are. My daughter and I do it all the time. We're like, okay, if we did this person, and then we would break it down, especially with Facebook. You're on Facebook, and then you see somebody that comes on that you're friends with, and then somebody else comments like, hey, how do you know my friend? And then you're like, oh, and then you find out this happened with one of my friends, actually, who I was working with, and I don't know, I was on his page, and then I know this other gentleman from my son's baseball league. And then I'm like, hey, how do you know him? And oh, I went to his bar mitzvah. We've been friends forever. They went to school together. So I love that. That's one thing I love about Facebook is the connecting, because connecting is so, so important. So please, it's Thankful Thursday. Post below what you're thankful for. Something simple, something big, whatever it is, but please share, and share with each other. Let's support each other. Let's care about each other. Show compassion and love, and just lift each other up every single day. Even the people that are struggling with being kind. Struggling. That's my bad. Just rise above. Rise above. Show them the way. We don't know what they're going through, so be the bigger person, be the better person. And those are the people that I like to be the nicest to, because I want to turn them around. I've even asked some people, are you okay? Do you want to talk about something? I swear, I'm not joking. Strangers, I'm like, are you okay? When they're so angry, I'm like, are you okay? Do you want to talk about something? You'd be surprised how many people say yes. All right. Okay. So, daily mantra: I am healthy, I'm happy, I'm whole. I am healthy, I'm happy, I'm whole. One more time. I'm healthy, I'm happy, I am whole. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to post this list under this video, and let me know if you have watched any of these and what you thought, or if you do watch any of them, and let me know what you think. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you tomorrow for super fun Forget About It Friday. Thank you for joining.